you're brand new to my channel, my name is Black Girls YouTube 2 and I give all types of tips, advice, and tricks regarding fashion, beauty, and education. Now, since today is January 1st, you may or may not know that FAFSA opened up today. So I'm going to do a walkthrough of how to apply for FAFSA and get your money. Stay tuned. Now, before you start filling out FAFSA, there are a couple of things that you'll need. Obviously, a computer, a calculator, a parent or a guardian. If a guardian can't be with you in the time that you fill out your FAFSA information, you're gonna need to know your social security number, their social security numbers, and have access to their tax return files. Alright, so this tutorial is more so suited for my first-time students, but if you are a continuing student, you will be able to do this too. If you are a first-time student, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and click Start a New FAFSA. If you are a returning student, go ahead and click Enter Your FSA ID. Now, if you are like me and you've never created an FSA ID before, you're going to want to create one before you begin. If you are a first-time student, you'll be able to create yours later. Before you start, you need to make up a save key, which is kind of like a password just in case you X out or your Wi-Fi fails and you need to get back to where you were. It's kind of like I don't know, the reset button or the saving point in a video game. Alright, so you've clicked your first button. And now you're at the introduction page. If you'd like, you can read through all the different links that are listed on that page. Otherwise, go ahead and click next for me. Okay, so now you should be at a page called Student Demographic Information. Go ahead and fill out your information. And if you live in New York, you have the option to apply for TAP. Now, TAP is only necessary if you are choosing to go to a New York State school. But keep in mind, you will receive TAP in addition to your FAFSA money, not in place of. So, if you're going to a New York State college, university, or institution, please go ahead and fill out TAP. It's short, it's easy, and that's more money. Now, if you don't live in New York, you don't have this option. And if you're not going to New York State school, that's not an option for you. Alright, so now you should find yourself at a page called School Selection. You're going to need to fill out what high school you went to as well as the colleges that you are planning to attend. If you already know what school you're going to, that's great. You can only fill out that information. However, if you are like my brother and you just filled out your college information last night, you can go ahead and list all of those schools. You can list up to 10. But please remember that you're gonna have to go back in later and fill out what school you are actually going to attend so there is no confusion and your money gets sent to the right place. So after you hit next, you should come to a page called Dependency Determination. Now on this page, you're gonna determine whether or not you are a dependent of the state, or if you are dependent on your parents, or if you have any dependents yourself. This means that someone relies on you and your income, or you rely on someone else's income, or you rely on the government. You're gonna have to choose which one of those you are through the questions that they ask you, and then we'll move on. My brother and I are dependents of my mother, but obviously we don't have any dependents ourselves, so we were able to continue moving. And now we're gonna go into the parent portion. So now we're gonna move ahead to parent demographics. Once again, this is because my brother and I are not dependents of the state. We are not dependents on foster care. We don't have any dependents ourselves. So we go straight into our parents. You're gonna go ahead and fill out your parents' information as much as you know anyway. If your parents are there with you, they can do this step themselves. Now remember, you will need to know their social security numbers. You will also have to indicate how many family members are there in your household. Now it's time to pull out your parents' federal tax return forms. You can either use 2015 if they have already filed, or if they haven't filed yet but they're going to file soon, go ahead and use 2014. At this point, you may or may not need a calculator. There are a couple of questions that ask you to add together a couple of lines. You are not going to be able to complete this entire process if you do not have their tax return forms. So please, again, grab a parent or grab that stuff yourself. But I suggest that you have a guardian there with you to help guide you. This will move you into the parent financial section. 9 out of 10, you're going to have a parent fill out this part because you don't know all of the things that have happened to your family as the year has gone by. So I suggest that you grab somebody. If you honestly cannot, try to answer those questions to the best of your ability. But I wouldn't suggest guessing because it'll screw up the amount of money that you could be awarded for this semester, and you don't want that to happen. This brings us directly into the student tax information section. If you don't fill out taxes but you do have a job, you're still going to have to try to tally up how much money you've made from your checks along the months of this year. We're almost done. Now you're at the sign and submit page. Please go ahead and read through the terms and conditions if you're about that life. Go ahead and sign, and then you're gonna have to grab a parent who's gonna have to do the same. So now if you've noticed, you can't go anywhere unless you have an FSA ID. So go ahead and click create a FSA ID. That's gonna include a username, a password, and a couple of security questions. So if you are a first year college student and you are also a first generation college student, then your parents probably haven't ever created an FSA ID. I think this has been new in the past couple of years. So you're gonna have to ask them to create one just like you did. If your parent already has one, but maybe they don't remember the information, they can either hit forgot password or they can check their email and figure out where their information is. Now, if you don't have enough time for all of these steps, or your parent just cannot find their ID, or your parent is not with you at the moment, you can always click other options to sign and submit, and you can click either sign electronically, print a signature page, or submit without a signature. I submitted without a signature at the moment, but keep in mind you're going to have to go back in at some point and add that FSA ID in. You will not receive money, you will not pass go and collect 200 if you don't go back in eventually and sign that form. However, if everything was finished, you did have that FSA ID, your parents signed, you signed, and you hit submit. Congratulations! What? It's lit. You're done. You finished FAFSA. You finished applying for college, and now you can submit to senioritis. No, you can't, because colleges are still looking at your GPA. But the toughest parts are over, and you can relax just a little bit. So, if you found this tutorial helpful, please go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to see the other things that are coming to my channel and you like what I've been doing so far, go ahead and hit subscribe, become part of the family. Also, go ahead and comment down below where you plan on going to college, and if you don't know yet, where you would love to go. If you're not a college student yet, boy, I don't know how you watched this video, but thank you. Comment where you'd like to go down below. Bye. I had a mouse in my room. Sometimes you shoot your shot and you miss.
If Steven really wants to go for my sloppy seconds, like, who can blame him?